Hello, good evening everyone. My name is Naveen. I work as a regional sales director at Rakuten SixthSense. I am primarily responsible for Rakuten SixthSense data observability software business in the region. Today I'm going to talk about detecting the data incidents faster in the organization. That means the rise of data observability, the term which took the industry by storm in last couple of years. Again, welcoming all of you. Before I move, I would like to let you know about what Rakuten is all about. Rakuten is a Japanese internet and technology company, started in 1997, 27-year-old, listed in Tokyo Stock Exchange, 76 plus technology led businesses across the globe, present in APAC, Central Europe, as well in North America, which has a revenue of combined revenue of 14 billion. And we are present in multiple verticals, right from e-commerce to bank to fintech to mobile to entertainment, sports, OTT, and so on. Rakuten India is a GIC, a Global Innovation Center, building cutting edge technology applications and platforms to the global subsidiaries of Rakuten. And Rakuten SixthSense is a first B2B enterprise SaaS software products business in India. We have two products right now. One is application observability, helping engineering orgs and DevOps orgs and CIO orgs to understand the visibility into their application ecosystem, as well understand the performance gaps, and data observability, which helps data leaders and data engineering teams to understand the health of data across the organization wide data systems, and also kind of helps in alerting data stakeholders in order to take the corrective measures, right? Imagine you're a data engineer or a data leader, right? And one fine Monday morning, you see the data product you're responsible for, or the project you're entitled to, shows some erroneous data. Uh, the dashboards are not popping up and they look broken. All of a sudden, you see many things broken in terms of reports. You're like, oh my god, the data looks wrong, what could be the problem? And these are some of the common problems understood and needed to solved across the organizations, right? And every organization is trying to solve these kind of problems. uh, by looking at the slide here, let me put a context to this slide, right? About data downtime. It's all about data downtime. There are three parties involved: folks on upstream source, extreme on the left side, who make changes to the data and can't really see that could impact the downstream, and folks at the extreme right, who are downstream folks, who are data consumers. I mean, the people who consume the data for decision making, who do not actually know when the data is bad and whom to ask for help. They could be your BI consultants, they could be your marketing leaders and sales leaders, and someone from business side of the organization, right? And people in the middle who actually process and transform the data, they do not even know how to predict all the way how the data got broke, right? So this is the problem with respect to data downtime, which is envisaged uh, same across a different data organization. And data downtime is not new, right? It has always been there from many years. And now the data quality issues are looked, even now the data quality issues are looked in a very reactive manner. There is no proactive approach to monitor the data quality or data incidents and so on and so forth. As so much of data is available now for everyone, reliance of data is at table stake, and we cannot afford to have a bad quality of data, as it impacts negatively to the business. If you look at the slide, most of the downstream data issues or incidents will be detected in a very manual way, right? 90% of the people who involved in this do it in a manual way, and few people who do the code based detection. through a manual test, trial and error, they try to detect the issues, which will take weeks and months in order to find out what's the issue is, and unnecessarily the project gets delayed, right? And these data incidents and downtime are always there, but there were no dire implications. But now it is not the case, because data quality, data reliability, uh, and anything which is related to data, it is becoming a core for any business in order to solve the problem and address it for better decision making. For example, there is a company called Unity Gaming, which kind of lost $100 million just because of a plagued ad data. They took a wrong decisions, and they made wrong investments because of this plague data, and ended up suffering 100 million US dollars as a hit, right? If you look at the business impact of poor data observability, there will be an average 71 data incidents per 1,000 tables every year in any organization, right? And 35 to 40% of data engineers today spend a lot of their time in order to find the issues, and find out and detect the issues, instead of doing the core work, right? That itself sucks a lot of bandwidth from data engineers, instead of doing a quality work or the work that matters to them, but they end up spending a lot of time in finding out the issues. And average 16 million US dollar is the loss the companies today incurring, because of the data quality, the poor data quality, which they can't use, they can't process, they can't feed it to the business users, right? That's a major problem. But over the years, what happened is, there is a common pattern emerged across data downtime, uh, across the industries, and when we look at it, it all looked same, right? All these patterns, or the outcomes, they look same. That means data downtime looks similar across all the companies, uh, across different industries. That means, is the data is up to date, is it fresh, is it reliable? Why does the data look off? I mean, the size looks off. Why it is looking suspicious, right? Why there are so many null values, and why it is deviating from the normal? Why there are so many duplicate IDs? Why the reports look broken? Why there are so many zeros instead of usually some other numbers like 100 or other values? It reflects zeros. Some of these are same across the different organizations which are driven by data, and it's the real problem to solve. But if you look at why and how this data observability as a trend came into picture, uh, this came into prominence by taking application observability concept, right? That means the companies like SixthSense, Datadog, New Relic, they solve problems for engineers, DevOps, and SRE to understand the application performance gaps, find out and tweak those MTTD and MTTR required for applications. The same we are trying to execute on data systems in terms of data observability, checking what is wrong with the data quality, why the data can't be trusted. These are all become paramount importance and problems for data engineering teams to solve for, right? I'm introducing Rakuten SixthSense, which is a single platform which can help you understand your data health better, and understand the performance gaps, alerts, notifies anything related to anomalies or abnormal behavior of data systems to the data engineering teams, or chief data officer organizations, right? There are three steps we recommend for data observability. You can call it as an approach towards implementing the data observability. One is detect. That means notion of data engineering teams are the last ones to get notified about any data incidents is absolutely not acceptable. And ideally the goal should be the data teams are the first ones to get notified about any data incidents, which can be today accomplished via Rakuten SixthSense DO platform through the ML powered algorithms and targeted alerts to the impacted owners and also to the downstream owners, right? And another approach is resolve. Data teams spend weeks and months of their quality time to resolve data issues. That is simply not acceptable because they are not doing their core work, right? They're doing a work which is not required. Ideally systems could have taken that kind of a work, which unnecessarily hampers the projects and does a lot of project delay. And data observability tools like Rakuten SixthSense are there to help analyze and find out the root cause, and in order to aid and assist to solve it. And the last one is prevent. By putting some operational rigor and tools, we can send notifications to the respective data teams in order to prevent those data incidents before they actually hit the decision makers or users per se, right? And this is how the Rakuten data observability works. This infographic shows how we monitor across from source all the way till consumption layer, right? If you look at the data source, then data will be collected across sources like any databases, CRM systems, ERP systems, HR systems, or workforce systems, and can be fed to the transformation layer where complete transformation of data occurs. And a data observability platform like Rakuten SixthSense monitors closely and helps and alerts and notifies the data teams and data engineering teams across 5 different variables. We call them as pillars. One is freshness, one is volume, distribution, schema changes, lineage, related deviations. And then data will be served once it gets processed, which will be fed to the consumption layer where BI consultants or business users or decision makers can self-serve the data to make informed decisions, right? And I would like to touch upon about the pillars of data observability today. One is freshness. Freshness means amount of time the table, the data is coming, periodically coming, and all of a sudden it stops at some point. It will be a major issue. To give an example, I'll take an example of a Vimeo platform, which is one of the well-known video streaming platform. It's having 100 millions of users with a sizable large data engineering teams, and it is important for them to have a data get updated at the right time, so that it actually helps them to make a right decision in order to allocate the right bandwidth for the user for a particular video streaming, right? And second one is distribution. It is basically deviation at a field level, why the value looks high, why the value looks low, why there are so many null values instead of the required values, and why these values all look suspicious. It is another layer of transparency what we give as a SixthSense data observability platform. The third one is volume. Understand that table gets updated constantly at until some time, and all of a sudden it stops, right? That means at some point data becomes partial, which is not good. For example, take an example of Akasha Airlines. It has millions of people who travel from their fleet, connecting to many cities, and data is at the core, and they every team needs data to be arrived at the right time in order to make the right decisions. Because if the data doesn't arrive at the right time, and if data becomes partial, then there could be a potential impact that customers could miss the flights, they could miss the bookings, they could miss the baggage collection from the conveyor belts, and so many things occur, which in turn causes a lot of reputation damage and experience damage to the airline itself, right? And the fourth one is schema. it's a most common culprit, I would say. It is mostly the miscommunication between the data teams within the organization, and a lot of times they do not know who made those schema changes. And we kind of help you with those insights, and it is an additional layer of visibility and transparency for your data teams. And the most important is lineage. It is mostly a dependency and correlation. You understand the process of transformation from source to a transformation zone and to a consumption zone, and you understand this whole process and trying to understand what changed and why, and then you try to notify the users based on what are the dependencies which caused for this particular lineage to occur, right? And with respect to Rakuten SixthSense, what we offer today as out of the box features is one is data pipeline monitors. These monitors help monitor uh, the complex, observe and monitor the complex data pipelines, which tracks freshness, volume, schema, and many other data anomalies, right? And we help monitor the job execution, the orchestration of orchestration jobs, and other things, and notify about data incidents over email, Slack, or any other communication channel you require today, and helps you understand the root cause analysis across lineage, data health through a single pane of glass. And what are the benefits of observability, that is the data observability today? uh, if you look at why we should uh, monitor the data systems, uh, then if you see the ramification of not being monitored, you will intelligently conclude on few things. One, absolutely data observability platforms help improve the data quality. That means you detect the issues faster beforehand it impacts the user, right? And also the decision making process. That means you're giving the right quality of data for next level of users. And second is your faster issue resolution. You will not be reactive in this case when you implement the data observability platform. You will be very proactive, and the incidents will be solved in a very faster phase, as compared to earlier the data teams used to take a lot of time, weeks or months to resolve. That means your efficiency of the project and the productivity of the teams will be increased. And it also helps in data governance and compliance, to adhere to the compliance. As a monitoring becoming a mainstream, it helps to reduce the data related risks, because you cross those checks and balances, make sure that everything is all right, and your monitoring mechanism itself helps to follow the rule of the land. That means the data privacy laws and regulations. That means you're well within compliance when you start using data observability, right? And increased data trust, when data from the source goes through a lot of transformation phase and being monitored constantly at the every stage, getting sending the alerts to the data engineering teams if there is any deviation to take the corrective actions. Then that means whatever the output you get at the consumption layer, it's absolutely worthwhile. uh, the decision makers can hedge their bets on to take a decision faster, meaningful decision, because it's a trustworthy data, which only in turn helps in terms of profitability, in terms of reputation, in terms of time to market, and so on and so forth. And lastly, the better business outcomes, right? uh, because achieving the right data quality right from the beginning all the way till end will obviously help you increase your company's profitability, EBITDA, because you're going to make a right decision for betterment of your business, has great impact on if your on your revenue increase, and also a reputation within the industry, because you're able to do a lot of those uh, hygiene factors which every organization needs to do when it comes to data observability. You're setting the bar high and doing those things correctively, then it kind of helps to drive a better business outcomes, right? So currently at Rakuten SixthSense data observability platform, we support uh, these platforms. We are agnostic to support these platforms, which could be connectors, your data lakes, and warehouses, as well the BI layers. So currently, we kind of support Snowflake as a data warehouse, and Hive, right? Microsoft Azure storage, right? That is one of the leading warehouse being used by many companies. At the consumption layer, we support Tableau, Power BI, and at a connector level, Apache Kafka and Hive, Fivetran, and so on. So, if you are interested to solve some of these data observability challenges which emerge day to day operations in a day to day operations, and it's all pertaining to your data systems, please do connect with us, and we can have a candid discussion and understand your current problems pertaining to quality, or schema, or distribution, or lineage itself. We can have a discussion and try to solve some of these problems using our commercially available Rakuten SixthSense data observability platform. Uh, I'm more than happy to help and solve the problems for you folks. Once again, thank you everyone, and I am glad you you're part of this webinar, and I hope the insights what I gave are helpful for you to understand what problems we solve. Once again, thanks. Have a great evening. Thank you so much. Bye bye.